Decentralization was, and still is, the hope of many of us early builders of the first generation of online weirdos. The first children to grow up with the internet and the last generation to remember life before it existed. In those early days, we saw the internet as a real promise that it would make information free, democratize media, and grant new forms of economic self-sufficiency. Many of us believed that we could change the way the world works from behind our glowing screens. Some of us actually did that, and many things have changed, but not exactly in the ways we imagined. The promise was that information would be free, but what we got to be the free information as third parties harvested our data. The promise was democratized media, but what we got was media that threatens our democracy. The promise of the early internet lost nearly all of its idealistic moral gravitas, so that now when we talk about promises and the internet, we're just talking about a JavaScript concept, another best practice in a software engineer's development stack. In any other field whose name had the word engineering in it, outcomes like this would not fly. Imagine a civil engineer or a structural engineer who is tasked with building the Brooklyn Bridge. A truck company asked the engineers, okay, we need to plan our routes across this new bridge. How many trucks, how many loads can safely go across and maintain the safety of the bridge? And imagine the structural engineer says, hey, look, technology is neutral. I build the bridge, but I don't tell people how to use it. If someone wants to break the bridge and it falls down, I mean, that is what it is. It's not my fault. But with software, especially with social networks and the digital media ecosystem, we are perfectly okay with tech companies telling us that the system that they have designed are neutral, even as they break safety, democracy, privacy, fraud, make our children unsafe or are abusive or cause deep harm to our country. There is not a responsibility to know its limits, its load, or what could happen to the lives involved should it break. If we start to believe that it's not our responsibility as the builders of these systems, then we're really building systems of harm. We're building bridges and not caring for those who trusted us to drive across them. I created wampum.codes to address exactly this issue. Wampum.codes is an ethical framework for software development based upon the principles of co-creation as understood by, well, my people, the Seneca Cayuga Nation of Oklahoma. Like all members of the Iroquois Confederacy, we made wampum. A lot of people have a misconception about what wampum is. They think it was a form of currency. Well, it was not a currency. We used it as a tool for recording and regulating the different political and economic agreements that govern daily life. It was a decentralized means of recording contracts, something like a pre-Columbian blockchain that encoded not just financial transactions, but also ethical values. The project of wampum.codes is to try to imagine how we can weave ethics back into 21st century technologies. The core concepts are you put an extra step in the software. All right, my dogs are barking. The core concepts are to put an extra step in every software development pipeline for the development of all work on computers, yes, including AI. To take a few hours a quarter, align your goals, look at risk mitigation. Oftentimes, you'll find that developers, UX designers, leadership all believe they have the same values, but we need to articulate them, build some basic rules and logic into their systems, imagine a better future, and really listen to one another around fears, joy, possibility for the things they want to see in the world. We can embed these values as dependencies in code the same way we do with the rest of our package.json. CEOs, founders, employees who want to work in tech are eager for change. They want new systems to encode values and ethics into the source code of a new decentralized project and systems. While waiting for experts and policymakers to make those decisions for us, we need to be developing systems of harm mitigation and threat modeling so that our products are designed to help the world and that they don't harm it. We need robust regulation, testing methods, and guidelines. And it is up to us to start developing these side by side with every line of code that we write. This is our field. We know how to do it. And we're the ones who need to step up. By implementing a decentralized protocol around ethics and software, we can make a step in the right direction. We live our lives according to a moral code, and the time has come for us to code our morals. We live our lives according to a moral code. The time has come for us to code our morals. Now I'm just going to